Melanie Zanona from Politico joins us now. Melanie, good morning to you.
Good morning.
The Dow finished down more than 600 points yesterday as talk continues of a slowdown both domestically and globally. This tit-for-tat continues with China as well over tariffs. How does all this factor into the G7 today?
Well, the president is heading into this meeting in a very sour mood. As you mentioned, his trade war with China has escalated. He's frustrated over the lack of progress. He's also anxious over these signs that there could be an economic downturn. His crown jewel is the economy. Then it's no secret he doesn't like these types of global meetings. In fact, he has sparred with some of these leaders that he will come face-to-face with this weekend. At the last G7 summit, he didn't even sign the joint communique, which is a tradition of going back many decades. And so this year they've decided not even to do one, just an example of how norms have really changed under Trump.
But he goes one better by calling for a pullout of all American businesses. I mean, just how realistic is that?
Well, it's very unclear. You talk to some Republicans on Capitol Hill. What does the president mean when he hereby declares companies move back? And no one knows, not even in the White House, what he means. This is just another example of the president sort of making policy by tweet and then his aides having to sort of scramble on the back end and come up with something. But you did hear the president come out yesterday and say, we are going to be tougher on China. They upped the trade war. They're going to increase more tariffs. But there is a lot of confusion on Capitol Hill right now about the direction that the president is going in.
That seems to be some of the norm, and even other things this week with gun control, obviously backing off of what he had said. He used words like chosen one in referring to himself. Nobody ever seems to worry about the base, but is there any point where some of this gets to be too much for that base even?
Look, Republicans have stood by the president time and time again through controversy after controversy. But I can tell you the one area that makes them the most nervous is the economy. So if there is a downturn of any sort in the economy, they might not be willing to put up with the rhetoric and the tweets so much. His approval ratings right now are very fragile.
Could he lose some of the Republicans, though, over the gun control issue where they seem to be more on board with the idea of some changes?
That is a tricky issue. The political winds have changed, especially in the suburbs where we did see a revolt against President Trump in 2018. But you have to keep in mind in a lot of these red and rural states, gun control is still widely unpopular. And there are Republican senators up for re-election in some of those states, including Mitch McConnell, the Senate Majority Leader.
Former Vice President Joe Biden raised a few eyebrows last night at a campaign event in New Hampshire. He's the front runner in the Democratic race right now. I think we have this clip. Let's listen to that.
My two political heroes were Martin Luther King and Bobby Kennedy. My senior semester, they were both shot and killed. Imagine what would have happened if, God forbid, Barack Obama had been assassinated after becoming the de facto nominee. What would have happened in America?
So you have Joe Biden talking about what would have happened if Barack Obama was assassinated. Why would one bring that up?
Yeah, it's a good question. I'm sure his campaign is asking the same thing right now. Look, we knew that Joe Biden, one of his biggest vulnerabilities is that he has the tendency to stick his foot in his mouth. He's made a couple of gaffes recently, including in the Iowa State Fair when he said poor kids are just as smart as white kids when he meant to say wealthy kids. And I can tell you there is a lot of anxiety in the Democratic Party right now about whether this could hurt his electability. It gives ammo to President Trump, who's already seized on some of these gaffes. But then there's this other camp of Democrats who say we can't beat up on every single little thing for all these candidates, because then whoever does get the nominee is going to emerge more damaged in the general election.
All right.
How many Democrats right now in the next debate are we looking at?
Well, more and more are dropping out by the day, so we'll just have to wait and see.
All right, Melanie, thank you very much.
Thank you.